Right, welcome back to Morning Live, and we want to touch base on a very, very interesting app, and this is called Car Fix. And whether you're a professional or an amateur, this app will guide you on how to fix your car. Any problem with your car, and of course, you can just follow the guideline and it will fix it. Now, the hassle of going to mechanics, sometimes some of them are kind of fraudulent. They fix your car, but sometimes they kind of chuck so many things from your car and sell it again. You know what happens in Nairobi and, of course, Kenya as a whole. So, Mr. Anis Odhiambo, Director Special Project, SkyTop Technologies, the brains behind Car Fix, is with me in studio. And we want to talk about this thing because it's a high time, I think, we need to be fixing our own cars. And whether you're an amateur or a professional, this thing is the biggest innovation right now in the country, and I'm proud to say this thing has to help so many people. Your car can break anytime, anywhere. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right. This is a very, I understand innovation happens all the time, but what was the brainchild of coming with Car Fix?
So, you probably driving, most of us drive,
Okay.
and the motorists go through a lot of hell in this city, Kenya
Time,
as well.
Time. We didn't even talk about
So, at SkyTop Technologies, we are all about coming up with solutions, technological solutions, keeping up with the times to solve these societal problems. And if you visit our website, skytoptechnology.com,
Okay.
we have a variety of solutions. So recently, our CEO had a vision of, kind of bringing Kenyans out of this misery, as motorists, where you have to deal with mechanics, you have to deal with car part dealers, and sometimes you are having to deal with them when you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
For example, if you want to change your car battery, I mean, that is something, if you are guided, you would be able to do that without much of a problem. We know that there are quite a number of there are many genuine mechanics in Kenya, but there are some unscrupulous mechanics who
so much.
Always looking for an additional coin in not a very good way. So basically what the app does, it makes the motorist take charge of their maintenance needs. There are 4 aspects of the Car Fix app, and one is to link you up with a car part dealer to get genuine parts. The other is to enable you understand how to fix your own car. Like I said, if you want to change your car battery, if you want to replace your spark plug, how would you do that? You know, sometimes you take your car to a garage, to a mechanic, to change the spark plugs. They would change the spark plug but end up breaking something else because they don't use the right tools to remove some aspects of the car before they get to the spark plug.
It's true.
The app also enables you so those are the 4 aspects basically: car part dealer, mechanic, or garage, and how to fix your car.
Interesting. Now, those things, for first time doing anything is kind of very scary, and the fear of not doing the right thing, the fear of mistakes. How have you managed to make this easier? Because now, by the time cars are different models, different screwdrivers just to chuck the plugs, do so many things. There are those sophisticated elements of service that indeed you need to go see physically a mechanic. Do you think it has reached that moment where, for example, I have a problem with my alternator? I need to change. It's not charging the battery. So I need to change it. It's a process. I need to remove part of the engine first, then maybe go remove the alternator. Kind of looks complex. Have you factored that in maybe?
Yes, indeed. Now, we are not saying that you should never visit your mechanic. Far from that. I mean, if you have a headache, the first thing you probably do is look for Maramoja or something. If that persists, they usually say, see your doctor. So, but now with the car, you want to change your alternator. We have the how to fix on the app. This is one module on the app. There are 4 modules. There's a how to fix or how to remove. So in that module, when you just click that button, you will be able to have access to a myriad of videos, quality videos that show you how to access the alternator that you want to replace, and the tools to use for that as well, and then how to now replace the alternator and fasten back the alternater without breaking anything.
Well, there's one challenge here. Sorry for cutting you short. A BMW, Mercedes-Benz, a Toyota, a Fuso, I believe the alternator is not somewhere the same, and I feel like there's quite some work for you to now illustrate on a Mercedes-Benz, on a Toyota, or a Next Toyota, whatever Toyota it is. Yes. How have you maybe factored that in?
Yes, and we have factored that in. That's a very good question, because we are also considering all car models. For example, the Mercedes has got different models, the MLs, the S-Class, the E-Class, the C-Class. Yeah. So we are factoring all that. So what I can assure you now is that if you, most of us will be driving, say, a Toyota, that is taken care of, but we have also factored other car manufacturers and their models of those manufacturers as well. Yes, so that, as you say, the alternator will be in different location in a Mercedes as opposed to that of a Toyota. We have factored that.
Right now, it's a sporadic rainy season. Yes. It comes and goes, and you know very well, rainy season is kind of a catastrophic for some cars. They stall just on the highway. It stops. Now, for example, I'm so green about what is causing this stall. And I used to check and look maybe what's happening. I'll check the batteries, the terminal. What is the first thing people check? And you wonder now, what's wrong with my car? You know, there's this idea of course, that's kind of technical. But look, it is just stalled. You have your fuel, your batteries are intact, but it's not moving. Now, you want to go check at the app. Maybe how can you advise such? Because now you'll have to go maybe for a mechanic to assess and do everything. Now you're an amateur in this situation. How will you manage to maneuver through this problem? For example, it happens to someone out there.
So there is a fifth aspect of the app, which I'm glad you've asked that question. This aspect talks about the problems and symptoms diagnosis. So the app has 5 buttons, 4 on the side, and then 1 at the center. And the question you asked is actually what we focused on. Because you're driving, suddenly the car stops.
Something happens,
you have fuel.
You know, everything is intact.
Honking is working, everything. But then it's stalled. So basically, when you click that button, problems or symptoms, you are taken to a different link where now how does it smell like? Was something smelling just before it stalled? What the smell like? Did you hear a sound before it stalled? Was there like some vibrations? How does it look like? So we have those links, and those give you a guide, like troubleshooting the problem, to get an intelligent kind of guess, if you like, that this might be the problem. So that, you know, we have quacks coming along even as mechanics,
big time,
and they might tell you this is a problem when it's not a problem. So we have a database, knowledge database, so that you can figure out what the problem might be. Just before the stalling occurred, what were you hearing? What does it sound like? Is it something smoking from the engine? What does it smell like? What does it look like? So we've got those links. And then we have a variety of suggestions that might guide you, give you an intelligent guess, if you like. Yes.
Interesting. Now, let's traverse to this issue of an amateur. You know, you have a new car, you don't know anything about that car, but you have the app, of course. Now, you've mentioned servicing and all those basic requirements that someone needs to know. Now, how is the user-friendly of the app? How have you made it user-friendly? Because now for an amateur who wants now to learn about, for example, technicalities like steering rack end, technicalities like, for example, ball joints, doesn't know where they are, bushes, so user-friendly of the app.
Exactly. So the user-friendliness, this is how we approached it. So, for example, you talk about steering rack. So we have the steering system. So you click, supposing your mechanic tells you need to buy this, you want to be sure. So what does it look like? So you click the button car parts, and you put that detail, the part number, because these car parts have a part number. So you put the part number if you're familiar with that. If you're not, just type in steering rack end. Then there will be an image showing you what it looks like, right? So does that look like what the mechanic says is broken? Yes, then you go ahead and purchase it. No, you question, you query. So then, apart from the image, you also have a description of what that does. Does that sound like what the mechanic is saying? Yes, if it does, we go along with what the mechanic is saying. If it doesn't, get a second opinion. But we give you that, chance to actually know the part. So you learn along the way. And in fact, this app is useful for anyone who just wants to know their car. Nothing wrong with your car. You just want to know your car. What does the steering rack do? What are the problems that it might face, say when it rains? You know that when it rains, the greasing of parts becomes a compromise. So just learning, knowing your car, so that if something fails, you are knowledgeable in advance.
All right. Yes. Now, service time. You know, service is very important. Does it have any records to help you now, maybe alert you, this is the next service, you need to be very kind of cautious about? Yeah, how does it do?
We have that in our database. It gives you, when you've done a service, it will be captured in the database. So you're given an alert when next you need to do a service. And maybe a couple of thousands of miles before the service is due, or before a part you replaced is due for replacement. And in addition to that, before you can buy a car, we also have a special database where you can get to know the history of this car. Yes.
Interesting.
So that people in car bazaars, they can also use this app. Right? So that when you buy a car, you're not at your own whims. You know that this car servicing was done on this date, these parts were replaced, and this is
it's kind of easy
current,
to follow up.
This is the current situation with this car.
Is there provision maybe someone can check the chassis number, engine number, such things?
Yes, you record that for a particular car, because that's the car identity, the chassis number, the engine number. Yes, we are.
Interesting. Now, for the mechanics, I understand they might look at this at some sort of competition. It's kind of to their disadvantage. How can it benefit the mechanics themselves? How can it benefit themselves?
I think that every mechanic who wants to climb up the ladder, you know, let's call them the informal, because they're the ones who might see that this as a competition. They want to be established. I think the issue of credibility is very key. So if these mechanics, the ones in the informal sector, can actually register with us, it enhances their credibility, because we only register those who are verified. And of course, you market yourself if you do a job well. You know, so I don't think it's a competition per se. I think it's we're opening a door for them, advertising for their services through this app as well. You know, people get stuck Mombasa Road, wherever, Waiyaki Way, and you know, their mechanic is probably tied down somewhere, but they can use this app and call the mechanic around the area, in the local area, right? So I think it's not competition per se, but actually we're opening a door for them to market themselves.
Interesting. Now, accessibility of the app is solely on Android, maybe iOS soon?
Yes, iOS soon. We are currently, you know, most Kenyans would have Android, of course, and of course, like you, other Kenyans have the iOS. But we are going to attend to your needs. This app has just been rolled out, and might I say that even though we are focusing on Kenya, we are planning to expand the other regions of Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, yes, and even United States soon. And of course, when we go to the United States, iOS must be.
So you want to take your app to the US?
Yes.
So now, when you talk about innovation in this country, yes, this is a good flagship, just as far as technology is concerned. When you talk about innovation, technology, and supporting this brainchild of STEM in this country, do you think there's a space for these young scientists to come and, for example, have a proposal? Because, you know, we've had so many cases where a young man comes up with an idea, they approach you, big people in this country, and then you kind of now better that idea and you chase them away.
At SkyTop Technologies, we actually groom young people. You'll be surprised to learn that 90% of our workforce are in their 20s. Right. These programmers. There will be scientists, technicians, engineers,
developers,
and developers. People with mathematical background, STEM, as you say. The CEO of SkyTop, his background is in architecture, so he's very much somebody in technology, and so his passion is to bring up young people, because, as you know, the young think faster than us.
What's wrong with us? As people.
So we have employed 90% of our workforce, young people, and so yes, we are not going to shut them down. They come up with ideas.
What about the complaints? You know, there's so many young people out there who have great ideas. Great ideas about good innovation, but when they actually present this innovation to multi-million companies or multi-billion companies, they're told, okay, good idea, maybe you can give us just a synopsis of what you have, it's brief, and then we'll communicate to you. Next week, you guys have actually just bettered what this young man had, and he keeps on wondering, why did I share my idea? Now look at the intellectual property of this young man or the young lady. What can you say about that?
I think the young people should also be encouraged to be entrepreneurial in their thinking, so that they are not just thinking about the idea, but every good idea must make not just sense, but must make sense. So that now, if you have an idea, think about the sense bit of it, right? So, but if you don't have the capital, you can partner. And Skytop Technologies is, as I say, we are open our doors for partnership. Young people, we will not steal your idea. We will better it, but you shall get the spoils as well. Because sometimes, if you want to go far, you go with others. If you want to go,
journey with people.
Yes, but so then we are not going to scuttle young people's ideas, but then the idea must make sense. So they should not just think of idea and leave it there, but think about how can I make money out of this idea. And at Skytop Technologies, we are opening up the market so that young people can also make money from the ideas.
Amazing. So there's this issue of intellectual property. You just mentioned it, because now this young person needs to make something out of it. It's tough out here, as you know very well, for young people. And you go to school, you finish your course, you expect something, your parents are on your neck, pressure, big time, and you're wondering, wow, I have this good idea, as I mentioned earlier, I can present it, then it's swept away, you find a better version of it. Now look at safeguarding the territory, safeguarding the idea. Maybe what's your advice?
Of course, there are laws in the country about safeguarding intellectual property. Copyright issues. So of course young people should also familiarize themselves with these legal matters. Don't sign a contract where you haven't read the small print and that kind of thing. Yes, but take an example of MCAFIX. So this is a trademark for Skytop, and all the people involved with MCAFIX, they understand the legal issues. We did our due diligence, and we made sure that we are not infringing on any. It is the only app of its kind, as far as I know now, in this country.
All right.
And we have taken all the necessary legal, actions to ensure that we safeguard this idea, the MCAFIX. So the young people, of course, need to be educated. Don't just come up with an idea, but know the legal parameters surrounding this idea, so that you safeguard it for posterity.
Amazing, amazing. So how much? Maybe online, is it free yet?
Right, so with MCAFIX, we have a subscription approach, so that it's like your airtime. You just pay for it when you want to use it, or you consume it when you want to use it. So we've got a 1 hour subscription, which is 100 shillings. We've got a monthly subscription, which is 1,000 shillings, and a yearly subscription, which is 10,000 shillings. Right? So I think that's really pocket friendly, because then you only pay when you have to use it.
When you have to use it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
The app registration is free, absolutely free. But when you have to use it, say for 1 hour, 100 shillings. It's probably best to take a month, 1,000 shillings, so you can use it anytime.
You have a business mind.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much, Brother Ernest, for coming. Good app, good innovation. And of course, I'll give it a try. See if it backfires. I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Mr. Musa himself. I'll actually have to bring you on the spot. Thank you so much. And all the best. That's a good innovation.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's all I had for you right in Morning Live. My name is Nick Mudimba. Joyce Omondi Wehige is coming up next with Full Circle. Stay tuned.